All right, welcome back to 519 Talks. This is episode 13, I believe. By myself tonight. I wasn't planning on doing one of these tonight. I had other plans, and they kind of unforeseen circumstances fell through. Derby Dave, that's actually, I'm at his place tonight. We've been going fishing back at a spot not too far from his place, and he uses a private driveway back through a field and back to the bush, and then we go down through the bush and then down to the river, and then we fish. And Dave's gone tonight, so I'm just hanging out here by myself. And so I was just, well, I'm gonna, go fishing tonight. The spot where we're fishing, there's a lot of rainbow trout in there, and they're kind of holding in there. And because the weather's been so cold and we haven't got any rain, the trout are just kind of holding in this hole. And then either once the water gets too warm or we get a substantial amount of rain, then they'll fuck off and go back down to the lake. And with all the rain they're predicting for this weekend, this could be it. And then if we get all this rain they're talking about, the river the levels are gonna shoot up, and then these fish they're gonna go back down to the lake, and then it's pretty much done for the season. So I was going to take advantage of the weather was okay, it wasn't raining, it was overcast, but probably maybe be the last night to get down there, and hopefully was planning on hooking into some fish. So I drove back up this guy's private driveway back to the bush, and he seen me come in, and he didn't recognize my car, so he kind of chased me up the driveway, and he's like, "What are you doing here? Who are you?" So I told him, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm a friend of Derby Dave. I'm just coming back to do some fishing." And he kind of scolded me and told me this isn't a public driveway. You're not supposed to be back here. I gave Dave permission. I don't want people back here. Blah blah blah. So he basically kind of politely, asked me to leave. So I got kicked off, so I didn't make it down to the river tonight. So I came back to Dave's place, quite bummed out. I was really looking forward to going down to the river tonight and possibly be, one of the last opportunities to get some more of these fish before they head back down to the lake with this rain that we're supposed to get. So I came back to Dave's, got the wood stove stoked up, watched a bit of Netflix and chilling by myself. Watched a super cool new documentary on Netflix all about psychedelic drugs. I think it was called Enjoy Your Trip or something like that. It's got a lot of very big, well-known actors and musicians and stuff talking about their psychedelic experiences. A lot of funny stories. If anybody's been kind of following me on my YouTube channel and stuff, I have expressed, interest in psychedelics. I did a whole 30-40 minute podcast about my DMT experience. So this documentary on Netflix on the psychedelics was very interesting. If you're into psychedelics or you're curious about it, or you're just there's just a whole lot of funny stories on there about celebrities and stuff with their psychedelic experiences. And then I watched one of Joe Rogan's stand-up Netflix specials. I can't remember which one it was called, but that was funny as shit too. And then it was just so hot in the living room because the wood stove's just in the living room where the TV is and stuff. And I was like, holy shit, it's super hot in here. maybe I'll do a little podcast tonight. So I'm just over in the kitchen area here. It's a little bit cooler. And figured why not? I got the place to myself. Dave's gone away. He's doing some other stuff out of town. So he said, if you want, you can come over to my place, watch some Netflix, just hang out, and keep the fire going in case it gets cold, whatever. So yeah, so I'm going to try to bust the short one off myself. Podcast, that is. And anyway, I really wanted to talk about, and I have talked about this quite a bit in a lot of my other podcasts, but I'm really, really, really big into this right now, and been learning a whole lot about, like I've talked about, like law of attraction, thoughts become things, reality creating, like how we create our own reality. And so many people, most people, are really oblivious and are unaware that we create our own reality. Some people will listen to this, or that have heard people talk about this, just they don't believe it. It's a crock of shit, and whatever. You believe what you believe. You have your own thoughts. You have your own beliefs. I'm not projecting my beliefs or what I think on anybody else. I'm just expressing, what I'm learning right now and what I'm exploring right now. Take it or leave it. I really don't give a shit either way, but this is just what's going on with me right now. In my own personal life is learning about law of attraction, thoughts become things, how we create our own reality. So from I listen to a ton of YouTube videos when I'm at work, all about creating your own reality, law of attraction, so on and so forth, from many, many, many different sources. And you kind of pick and choose, and you kind of sift through everybody's opinions and what everybody's talking about. But I got to be honest, I got to admit, like pretty much everybody that I listen to, in a wide variety of different people, and everybody's opinions and teachings and theories on law of attraction and reality creating, everything matches up. Everybody aligns up with everybody else. It's not like with organized religion, where you have, people say, I'm a Christian, but then you have, this denomination, they believe this, and this denomination, and this denomination. It just goes on and on and on. And you get listening to these, and some of the shit just doesn't line up. It doesn't line up with it. There is variables there that match up, but there's so many differences and so many variables when you get into that stuff. And I was really expecting that by exploring and listening to different people talk about it, but everything lines up. Everybody's congruent with everybody else. Everybody's opinions and thoughts and research and own personal experiences, everything lines up with everybody else. And I found that to be pretty amazing, really. So in listening to many different people, and these people keep bringing up the same authors that have written books or given lectures or seminars about law of attraction. And so I got really curious, and I actually ordered a few different books from Amazon, which Derby Dave gave me shit because I wasn't supporting local on the last podcast. But I've been reading. I don't like to read. I'm not a big reader. I never have been. But I have read more in the last month than I've probably read in my entire life. I'm actually excited, like when I have, when I'm winding down at the end of the night, instead of watching Big Bang Theory for an hour, I'm in my room and I'm reading these books. and excited to read these books, because I feel like I'm like a little sponge and just soaking up and just absorbing all of this information and knowledge from these old time authors. And if you're interested in all this stuff, one guy I super highly recommend, and if you're interested in reading some of his material, his name is Neville Goddard. He's from, like, he was like from back in the late 50s and into the 60s is when he was big, when he did all of his teachings and lectures and seminars and stuff. And so I've been reading his books, and it's so interesting to read his point of view and his perspective on law of attraction, reality creating. And I never realized this, and if you look, when I look back over like my own life and my own reality, for the last 43 years, what he says is so true, that we create our own reality, whether we realize it or not. We create our own reality, and most of the time, the reality that we create, we don't even realize that we're actually creating it. And we create our own reality through our own thoughts. So what you think about on a continuous basis, or what you think about consistently, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, will eventually in time manifest itself into your own reality. And I heard this beautiful parable that Neville Goddard had talked about, and he said that our minds, or like our subconscious mind, is like fertile soil. It's like a garden. And then our thoughts are seeds that we plant. Now here's the interesting part, is the soil, or our subconscious mind, doesn't give a fuck what you plant. It doesn't care if you plant poison, if you plant negativity, you plant drama, you plant bullshit, or whether you're planting positive thoughts into your mind. It doesn't give a shit. Whatever you plant, it will grow and it will multiply. And so many times, for most people, without even realizing it, we're planting seeds of negative thoughts, getting caught up in drama, getting caught up in the media, especially in these times with everything that's going on with this so-called pandemic, this coronavirus. People are just absorbing all this negativity. I'm not taking anything away from it. Yeah, it's a real thing. I personally don't think it's as severe as what the media is portraying it to be. I think a lot of it's just bullshit propaganda. But that's just my own opinion. You can agree or disagree. I don't care what anybody thinks about my own opinions. But you get caught up in it, then you start thinking about it, and then you start worrying about it. And then all you're doing is you're just, like I said, you're planting seeds of worry, of doubt, of fear, of uncertainty, and you're just planting those seeds into your subconscious mind, into that fertile soil, and then those seeds just start to blossom. And then what do those seeds produce? They produce more. You yield a crop of more negative thoughts, of more thoughts of uncertainty, of more thoughts of shit that gives you anxiety and keeps you up at night. That's all it does. That's basically the law of attraction. what you focus on, you're just going to get more and more and more of it. And then you get caught up in this momentum of traveling down this rail on a track, on a train that's hurling down the tracks out of control with so much negative momentum, and it's hard to stop the train. That's why it takes a train, sometimes depending on the size of it, it takes a train miles and miles and miles to slow down to come to a complete stop, because there's so much momentum forcing it down the tracks. It's the exact same thing with our thoughts, with negativity and bullshit and all the stuff when you get caught up in what's going on right now. Like I talked about in a podcast, a month or so ago about conspiracy theories and how I wasn't going to get wrapped up in it. And then I got wrapped up in it. And I got all caught up in all the bullshit that was going on. And I started a fucking freight train going down the tracks. Mind you, I caught myself. I realized what was happening. And I slowed it down. But yeah, you get something that's got a whole lot of momentum that's hurling down the tracks. It takes a lot of time, and you need a lot of space to slow that down and bring it to a stop. But once you get it to a stop, and you realize and you grasp the understanding of your thoughts, what you're thinking is creating your own reality. You need to stop that fucking train of negativity and doubt and fear, and you got to stop that and start planting new seeds. Start planting seeds of positive thoughts. Stop listening to the news. Stop reading all the bullshit on social media. I don't have anything to do with it, and I've said this many times before, and I'm saying it again because I think it's so fucking important. If you want to follow a little bit of it, but man, you start getting wrapped up in it. Like I got people on my Facebook page, and I don't mention names, but there's a few people on my social media, and that's just like they're not posting like somebody else's shit. They're like, this is their own stuff that they're just throwing up on their opinions and their fears and their doubts and their indecision about this, and they're just so consumed with it. I'm just scrolling, just like, sucks to be you. Like, I would not want to be you. I can't even imagine the seeds that are being planted into their mind, into their subconscious mind with all this shit that's going on. Like, I got better things to focus on. Like, I got so many other things, like positive things. Like, I'm focusing on like the direction that I want to go with my life, the direction I want to go with this podcast, which I still haven't quite figured out yet. I'm still trying to find my groove, and focusing on the new podcast that I'm going to be starting at some point in the future. And I got other plans that I'm very much, looking into, exploring, very excited about, potentially starting some other things, starting a business. Everything's kind of, a little bit on hold or, on the back burner at this particular moment, but I'm still focused on these things that I want to accomplish. So that's what I'm doing. I'm planting seeds of positivity and planting seeds of, expanding myself in a direction that I want to go, and focusing on, where I want to go in life and how to get there, and mapping out how I want to get there. Those are the seeds that I'm planting right now. I don't want to plant bullshit negativity. And Neville Goddard also talked about another beautiful illustration about our conscious mind and then our subconscious mind. And I think I brought this up in a past podcast where I speak about, and these aren't my words, this isn't me being super smart, this is just me talking about stuff so this isn't anything that I've come up with, so I'm not trying to take credit for anything. This is just me talking about what I've learned from other people that are smarter than I am. So, but yeah, he came up like, okay, with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. In the conscious mind, like our thoughts, our conscious thoughts that we have during the day, so on and so forth, and how we feed that into the subconscious mind, or the garden. In the conscious mind's planting seeds into the subconscious mind, and then those take root and they start to grow, and then they produce more of whatever it is that you've planted. So then you develop a belief system, okay? So subconsciously you believe certain things to be true about yourself. Like I grew up not having a whole lot of, I didn't have a whole lot of self-esteem. I kind of had a bit of a dysfunctional upbringing. I really didn't have a whole lot of encouragement growing up. I didn't get the hugs and the kisses and the attaboys and I'm proud of you and all that. So I grew up very insecure, being a people pleaser, trying to make everybody happy, never believed I was good enough, to be loved and shit like that. It's not me telling a sob story or anything like that, but just to kind of, set up for what I'm about to explain. So these were beliefs that I had of myself, that I wasn't good enough, that, I'd never be good enough to be, that somebody would love me, blah, 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 sob story. But you grow up believing this stuff to be true. So when you plant these ideas, or other people plant these ideas into your mind, your subconscious mind takes that as truth. The subconscious mind doesn't know truth from non-truth. All it knows is what you're feeding it, and it takes that and says, okay, this is what we believe, this is what's true, now we have to act in such a way that supports what it is that you believe. So if you don't have self-confidence, you don't have self-esteem, you don't value yourself, you're a people pleaser, you become needy and insecure, then we act in such a way that supports that belief system that we hold in our subconscious mind. So we externally feed our subconscious mind, which is our internal mind, or our internal self. Okay, so we externally take those thoughts, or somebody else plants thoughts, and we take those thoughts that somebody else has about us and plant that into our subconscious mind. So external going into internal. The internal processes all that information, and then says, okay, this is all the information, this is all the data. Okay, because of all this data that we have, this is what's true. Okay, so you don't have self-esteem, blah, blah, blah. So then the internal, our subconscious mind, our inner self, then projects that, whatever it is that we believe ourselves to be true, projects that back out to the external. And that's why people behave the way they behave. That's why people act the way that they act. That's why people react the way that they react to certain people. That's why we do anything that we do. It's because of what the external has come into the internal, and then the internal is projecting back out to the external. So back to the Neville Goddard beautiful illustration is he talks about the conscious mind being male, and the subconscious mind is female, and that basically our subconscious mind is like a womb, okay? And it's like, yeah, but it's like planting a seed, like how reproduction works. So we put these thoughts into our subconscious mind, and then they start to, like how a garden grows, but like how a female, the gestation period or whatever, and then the woman gives birth to that. The subconscious mind is like that. Well, it's the same thing, but a different illustration of basically you're impregnating her, with these thoughts, and then over time they develop, and then your subconscious mind gives birth to reality of whatever it is, that whatever you've been thinking about. And it's just super fascinating to learn about this. And but what's really reassuring is that you can, if any of this is kind of ringing any bells or resonating with you, you can over time reprogram your subconscious mind. And that's the process that I've been going through for the last 14, 15 months now, is slowly reprogramming the subconscious mind, which is keeping away from negativity, staying away from negative thoughts. It just basically reaffirming to myself all the things that I want to be, saying to myself all the things, basically, I'm having a hard time explaining this, but I want to be a certain way. I see the direction where I'm going, and I see the end. I see the person, ultimately the man that I'm going to be. Okay? So all the things that I want to be and all the things that I want to accomplish, those are the things that I tell myself. That yes, you are going to do these things. You are going to do this. You are going to do that. And just constantly reaffirming myself that all of these things not only are going to happen, that they already have happened. Okay? I hope this is making sense. It makes sense in my head, but I'm probably not articulating it that well. But one of the books that Neville Goddard wrote, which I've read twice now, read it twice and listened to the audio multiple times, and have listened to guys on YouTube that take that book and break it down and kind of explain it and break it down as they're going, like basically like a book report sort of kind of YouTube video. And the name of the book is The Feeling is the Secret. The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. If anybody's interested in anything that I'm saying, I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. And he talks about when you want something, or you want something to happen, when you want to create or manifest something into your life, you have to meditate and focus on the feeling of you already having possession of it. You can't just, if it's money, or if it's the relationship that you've always wanted, or to start a business, or whatever. It's not just, I want money, I want the perfect relationship, I want that business, because when you focus on the wanting of something, you're just reaffirming that you do not have it. Okay? But when you focus on and meditate, and this takes a lot of work. I haven't mastered this by any means. I can get into a meditative state where I really, really focus on what it is that I desire, and you really meditate and you focus. Okay, now how would I feel if I already had these things in my possession? How would I feel inside? What emotions would I have? What feelings would I have if I already had that money, if I already had that relationship, if I already had that business that I want to start, whatever it is? Focus and meditate on the feeling of you already having it. And the subconscious mind is going to take that as truth, that that you already have it. So you don't have a vibration of lack, that you're lacking something. You're having that thoughts, those feelings, that vibration. And I'm not going to get into the vibration thing. Anybody that knows anything about law of attraction knows about what I'm talking about on running on a high or a low vibration. But your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between fact and fiction. It doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not real. The subconscious mind just knows how you feel and accepts that as truth. So if you program your subconscious mind into thinking that you already have this stuff, that you're not lacking anything, then in turn that must, by law, that must manifest itself into your reality at some point in the future. So yeah, it's not about I want money, I want success, I want the relationship. You have to feel as if you're already in possession of that, and hence the feeling is the secret. And Neville talks about the optimal times to do this. Oh, must be 10 o'clock. These lights are shutting off. Anyway, it's pretty cool lighting anyway. But so he talks about right when you're going to bed, and just as you're at that state where you're in bed and you're super comfortable. I'm just gonna flick on another light here. It's a little bit better, but so when you're in bed and you're just about where you're just drifting from consciousness to unconsciousness, is the pivotal, whatever, I'm not saying that word right, it sounds funny, time, that perfect time to take advantage of reprogramming your subconscious mind. So right when you're in bed and you're getting comfortable and you're at that point where you're ready to drift off, that's like, I've been doing this every night consistently for quite some time now, and I just focus on that feeling of already having what it is that I desire. And when you can really get into that, when you can really feel that emotion in those feelings of already having what it is that you desire, it's euphoric, it's blissful, it's peaceful, it's so amazing, it's just so comforting. It's really amazing to have that feeling. It's like, it's weird because it's like you feel, it's so bizarre. Like I said, I'm still practicing it, and I can only really maintain it for a short period of time, and then my mind slowly starts to wander off, and then you kind of got to harness that back in, that focus. And that's where the practice comes in, is learning how to control and being able to control your thoughts and to be able to stay focused on that meditation, that meditative state of feeling, already having what it is you desire in possession. But it kind of feels like, if I had to just put it into words or to just describe it to something else, is when you hear a song, and it's happened to everybody and everybody knows exactly what it is I'm talking about, where you'll hear a song and you'll just, like, the hair on your arm stands up. There's just something about that song that brings such a strong emotion and a feeling where you just, your whole body starts kind of tingling and the hair on your arm stands up. I love it when that happens. But that's kind of similar to the same feeling as when you get so focused in that meditative state on focusing on the feeling of already having it in possession of what it is that you desire. And Neville talks about that and how important it is to take advantage of that. Like, I'm so big on it. Anytime I have any opportunity to even have like a bit of a nap or something, I get myself comfortable. And even if I know, okay, I got 20 minutes, I can kind of chill out and zone out for 20 minutes. I get myself super, super comfortable in a very, very relaxed state, to the point where I feel like, okay, I could fall asleep, and then boom, I get right into that meditative mind state, or that state of mind, and I really start focusing on, the desires, and the things that I desire, and really, really focus on that feeling, and then I just kind of let myself drift off to sleep. I do that every opportunity I can. And Neville, really, really, he's super big on, on talking about taking advantage of that, and how um, bedtime, or whenever we lay down to rest for the night, that is such one of the most important times in our day, is to take advantage of that time, because so much work can be done in the subconscious mind in those 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it may be, from the time you get nice and comfortable, from the time you drift off to sleep, and get into that meditative state, and to focus on that. So that's just a little bit about what I've been doing. I'm not gonna share my desires, what it is I desire in my life. It's none of your business, really. Those are my own personal thoughts and my own personal desires. And in time, I am 100%, absolutely certain that my desires will come to pass. Providing I put in, the time and the effort to, in continuously, reprogramming my subconscious mind, believing, knowing that I will attain these certain things that I desire in my life. It's gonna happen. Just me doing this, my little Area 519 Talks podcast. It's not big right now. I got 35 or whatever subscribers right now. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers. The average podcast, I might have 50 to 75 people that listen to it, and that's fine. But I'm doing it. I'm taking that step. I'm moving in the right direction. I'm not just sitting stagnant thinking about, okay, I want to do this, no, I'm doing what it is that I want to do. Am I where I want to be? No, but I will get there. That is absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind. I said something super, super bold with my podcast with Izzy, and I says, I'm going to have the biggest podcast in all of Canada. And coming from a position where I'm sitting in front of a cell phone doing a podcast by myself on a Thursday night because I couldn't go fishing, the external says, well, that's ridiculous. That's not even possible. And if you allow that external to plant those seeds, if that's what you believe, that, oh, it's never going to happen, well, then it won't. It will never happen with that attitude. But no, I am fully convinced that I can do anything I want to do. I can have anything that I want to have, and I can achieve any goal that I want to achieve by doing these certain things and just believing in myself. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing of all, is believing in yourself, trusting yourself, trusting your internal voice to lead you and guide you, picking up hunches, picking up, inspiration, and acting on that. Like, I had no intentions of doing this podcast, and I was gonna go fishing, and then when that got kiboshed, I got all pissed off. I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch Netflix and then sleep on Dave's couch tonight. I was so pissed off. And I just felt my internal voice saying, you know what? You got the time, you got the space, you're at Dave's place, do a podcast. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't feel like it. I'm not in the mood to do a podcast. I don't even know what I'd talk about. And I just felt my internal voice, my my inner self saying, do it. So that's another thing I'm learning is being able to recognize that inner voice, my inner self communicating to me, and just don't ask questions, just do it. Trust the process. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I grabbed a beer and just decided to do a podcast. I didn't even know what the hell I was even going to talk about. And here I am 40 minutes in and I haven't shut the hell up. So yeah, just learn to listen to that and find that inner voice, your inner self. And don't, because I'm reading another book too. I'm not going to get in, talking about this other book, but it is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Also, if you're kind of anything that I'm talking about is resonating with you, I highly, highly, highly recommend him as well. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And all the principles in his book are same thing. They completely line up. They're completely congruent with everything that everybody else that I've been listening to. Same principles, same idea, conscious mind, subconscious mind, planting seeds of positivity, feeling, already having obtained what it is that you want to achieve. He taught, it's all the same thing. So I've been reading his book too. And, excuse me. Yeah, I'm just planting seeds of where I want to be, where I want to go, the things I am going to achieve without a shadow of a doubt. I've never had a more clear-cut path, a sense of direction, a passion, a desire that I have right now. I've never had this in my entire life. I've done a lot of interesting things in my life, and I've had a lot of crazy ideas that I've never followed through with any of them because I always had that insecurity, the doubt, the fear. And then when you get the fear, the fear paralyzes you, and then you don't do anything. And that's another thing, is not doing anything starts to create doubt and fear as well. So yeah, I heard that little inner voice, when I'm sitting my ass on Dave's comfy chair. Well, I call it my comfy chair, but whatever. And I just felt that inner voice saying, just do a podcast, just do it. This is what you want to do. This is direction that you want to go. Then you need to keep going down this road. You have to pursue that no matter what. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to listen to it and just, and do it. So episode 13, I did it. I'm probably going to review it. I don't know if I'm going to upload this yet. I probably will. But yeah, episode 13, 519 Talks. Yeah, if you want to help me out, hit a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Every little bit helps, so if you want to help me out, by, liking a video or subscribing to my channel, whatever, that just every little bit helps to, pursuing my dream. So yeah, that would be superly awesomely appreciated. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my solo one. I don't like doing them solo. It's just so much easier doing it with somebody else, but regardless. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.